Hello, everyone. We are live with my brother from another mother, Peter Freeman from Crunch Time Coaching. Love to have him on the stream. Partners in crime over here, and really excited to have Peter on to help me chat about um, how to win with any doubles partners. So, Peter, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. If we're brothers from another mother, that means I'm your older brother. So I'm gonna
Oh,
have to
crap.
start like bullying you and a lot of bad, older brothers. Then there'll be some occasional mentoring in there, some heart to heart talks,
Yes.
but it's not gonna be pretty.
Oh, but like when people give me trouble, then you'll kick their
That's true.
butts,
I'll
right?
be there for you. I will be there
Yeah, so
for
I
you in
can
the
I can cause
schoolyard.
a lot of commotion. You could just pop in and I'll just run away.
Well, then when we get home though.
Oh,
Anyway,
damn.
guys, it's fun to be on tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about how to win with any doubles partner. And I want to give my man over here some credit because this year, he's playing a lot of doubles. He's, last I checked, 18-1 on doubles court. And we were talking about it. I said, Mehrban, that's pretty good. I said, have you been playing? Because a lot of people say, I need to find my partner. If I just had my partner, then I would win more. But you, in your 18-1 stretch, have played with how many partners?
I think it's like maybe 7 or so, something like that.
7 different partners.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's definitely been a lot because it's been, mix and like combo and yeah, all sorts of stuff. Gender. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the common denominator and all that is you. You playing with different partners. I know you don't want to brag about it, but it's pretty cool. And I could see how you'd
Thanks.
be a really good doubles partner to play with because you're easygoing. I think
Hmm.
you have a good energy to play around. Plus, you're very competitive. A lot of people don't have that. Some people are like so nice, but then they don't have that competitive fire to compete and win. You've got that competitive fire, but you also are able to easy to be around, and so I just want to give you some kudos, some credit.
Well, kudos for those kudos. I appreciate it, Peter. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to talk about this subject because, as Peter mentioned, I play a ton of USTA. Like I'm on, I think like 5 or 6 teams right now. I think three, four, 5 teams, a 5-0 team, and still on actually like 3 mixed teams that are still active, but for postseason, I got to pick one. Oh God, that's tough. I hate that. But anyways, we're here to talk about the different strategies that you can use with any doubles partner. And Peter, definitely would appreciate your input. If you disagree with any of them, let me know. Like you are the audience, and we can probe deeper into any of them. But yeah, just a quick shout out to some peeps here. Scott Levy is here. Nice to see you again, Scott.
He's a
Legend.
diehard. Don
Yes.
Dupart. All right. Both of those
Nice.
people coming to Cincinnati. You got to come to Cincinnati one year
Oh.
where we do the Cincinnati Masterclass Clinic. It's awesome. We got the best students. We got the best indoor facility, Harper's Point
Mm.
Racquet Club, which is amazing. And in my opinion, the best tournament in the United States, the Cincinnati Open. So if you guys are watching this, I have like literally just a less than a handful of spots left because cool people like Don and Scott Levy are already taking some spots. So, but let me know. Email me, text me.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Peter does an amazing job with his camps. Mark, how did you get bummed down your winner? Ah,
He's going
thanks.
to. He's going to Cincinnati too.
Nice. Triple Cincinnati crew. Hey Sharon, how's it going?
She's
Um,
going too.
oh my God, that's incredible. What the next person's obviously going as well.
All right,
Yeah,
put
Mark.
on another person. Just one more time before you get into it. Who just pick another person.
There's no. Come on, guys. More comments, please. Yeah, no, nobody's commented yet, but I'll
Oh,
put them on, and they'll probably going. But yeah, sorry, real quick, Mark. Yeah, I don't know. There's a theory that maybe because I'm close to being 40, that could be it. But yeah, I was 14-5 last year. I won all my 5-0 men's matches, including postseason. And a little bit strange that I got bumped down, but almost appealed. My ego part of me wanted to appeal, but I was advised not to, and just you have better partners and whatnot. So, but yeah. So let's get into it. I made these banners for you all. So yeah, let's do it. Right. So number one is find out your partner's strengths and weaknesses. This is arguably one, probably the most important one. But again, you can kind of assess and see which ones you may be missing in your doubles games, and strategy wise. But I think it's really important. You want to have a chat with them and ask them, first off, do you prefer deuce or ad, which I think most of you hopefully are doing. You want to ask, do you have any favorite serve spots that you're most comfortable hitting to, like especially when you get into these crunch time situations. You really mostly want to just have them serve their most comfortable serve. So maybe they're used to hitting more slice serve. So, you call that instead of calling like a kick down the tee or something. And then you need to know this information to help set up their strengths. So, frequently there's players who maybe they have a stronger forehand, a weaker backhand. So you use Australian formation, for example, where you're serving to the ad side, but your partner is actually standing on the same side as you on the left side, and then you are the one who actually shifts over to the right. Or I'm sorry, let's reverse that. If your partner is the one serving, you help them out by having them, shift to their right so they can hit the forehand while you shift to the backhand side for righties. But anyways, so I think it's really important to assess that because, you want to be able to also just try to figure out, like, now that you know your partner's strengths and weaknesses and your own strengths and weaknesses, how can you maybe set up the points so that your partner is using their strengths as much as possible, and maybe masking their weaknesses as well, avoiding the partners, the opponents getting to them. And maybe you actually do two back, things like that, if they have much better ground strokes and weak volleys. So it's, you don't be afraid of like going against the grain in terms of like, oh, it's just doubles, we must serve and volley or something like that. You can always play whatever strategy works best for you all. So that is my first one. Peter, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I love that, because it's one of the stories I tell often. I'm not going to go into the whole story because it's too long and people probably heard it a bunch of times if you keep tuning in. But when I got to play doubles with Mark Woodford one time, 17-time Grand Slam champion, just a exhibition fun match at Tennis Fantasy Camp, and he just kept asking me what I like to do the whole match. Where do you like to serve? Where do you want to return? And it was so cool to have all these questions of what I like to do that I felt comfortable right away. I went from being super nervous to feeling like this is fun and this guy is so cool. So good stuff.
Yeah, no, thanks for highlighting that, Pete, because you're having one of the most amazing doubles players of all time, using this strategy of asking you what are you comfortable with and then adjusting accordingly, because obviously he can hit every shot and set you up. So yeah, thanks for that, Peter. Let's see what else we got. USC computer formula is suspect. Yeah, I agree, Mark. But Peter, do you want? I know you have a couple yourselves. Do you want me to go to my next one, or do you want to pop in?
You go to the next one. I'll just kind of chime in.
Perfect.
Off of what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So the next one is communicate throughout the match. I think this is super important. And first off, you want to try to get a feel or even ask your partner what is their communication style, because some players like to talk in between points. Others just prefer to only use signals, stay, go, location of the serve and so forth. And as well, it's really important to do this so that you can just like feel more comfortable with them. And I think that it's really important, like let's say if you're in a situation where like maybe you're love 40, love 30, something like that. It's especially important in those cases to communicate with your partner and just figure out, like, it helps you reset as well. Like what do you want to do this point and things like that. Yeah, just I think the telltale sign for me of when teams are not doing well is when a point finishes and then they just like walk back and walk to their positions. Like I notice that almost every time, like, you see the one side just doing that, going through the motions, and you're like, yeah, they're losing, and you check and they're losing. So I think that especially when they're new partners, but also just with recurring partners as well. I think the communication part is really important. You just build the rapport with your partner, and yeah, so really important to communicate. I think if it's silent too, sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward, and you're kind of wondering like, how is my partner feeling? Maybe they're mad at me, things like that. So the communication is really important.
Yeah,
Peter?
I mean, we
Yeah.
touched on that last time, and there was one little thing you said that if people are out there listening, and you ask your partner how much you like to communicate, if you're one of those people who would reply back like, I don't like to talk much, I kind of like to get my own zone, I would encourage you to work on that, because I don't think it's a good idea to kind of accept the idea that well, we work best when we don't talk, that we just kind of do our own thing, and a lot of people want to do that,
Mm.
and more often than not. I mean, it seems like when I run a camp and I'll tell people, hey, let's talk, let's communicate, they will do it like a couple times in the beginning of the match, and then within a game or so, like, it's kind of like a war almost between me and this. It's like almost like, well, how many times I'm going to remind them, because I want them to have fun and everything, and I don't want to keep interrupting. But man, like, it is tough to get recreational players to get out of that habit of just going back to their spots after each point and not looking at each other or communicating, and especially when the backs turn away, like, it's just not good. It's and rarely, like Mehrban said, when teams are doing that, rarely are they playing well. And especially when you have the one player, when you're like, oof, we should leave that person alone because they're about to go insane. Like, we've all seen that. Maybe you've done it a couple times, but I'm sure you've seen it to where you're like, don't talk to them. Like, they are about to go off. And if you are like that, you've got to work on that. And it's nothing, even don't feel bad if you're like that. Like, I mean, I've done some embarrassing things on my time on the court. I'm not perfect. So it's a part of the game that maybe some of you need to work on.
Yeah, definitely. Peter, what's your communication style? I know you're primarily now coaching to help, your players improve. But yeah, like when you were on court and playing doubles, let's say, like what were you communicating like constantly, like every single point, or what?
Well, I think so in my playing days, and so again, there's playing Pete, and then there's Coach Pete, and let me tell you, even though playing Pete was a pretty good player, he wasn't the best partner all the time. And
Mm.
so I'm a much better coach about this than I was a player. And one of the early lessons I learned was from my college roommate. And he let me know one time when we were out that he didn't like playing doubles. He wasn't even mad at me. We weren't even arguing. It was like almost like he was making a joke, like, I'm like, why not? Like, it's completely surprising. It's like, well, you're just so intense. You just have this look on your face. I don't feel, I don't feel comfortable talking to you. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea I came off like that. So I think that was one of the moments where I was like, wow, this is my friend. And this is how he feels playing with me. Like, I'm doing something wrong. And so I think from that day on, it really stuck with me. Like, I've got to be a better partner. I've got to put my feelings aside of, what's going on internally, and be more aware of my partner's feelings. And then certainly as a coach, it's a lot easier to say the right thing as a coach than it is to do the right thing as a player, and
Oh
I
yeah.
totally understand that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. And let's see who else we got here. Maggie, hola chicos from sunny Acapulco. Muchas
Nice.
gracias. Oh man, I wish I was there. Was that a little dance you did there, Pete?
Yeah, it was.
Nice, nice. Muy bien. Love you, Peter. It's Omar. Nice. What's up,
Hello,
Omar?
Omar.
What's up?
Thank you.
Let's see here. Cool, good stuff. So let's do number 3. And this is one that you stressed and you were just kind of talking about. Make your partner feel good. I have this story that, I've said a couple times before, but I played this is 8-0 mix nationals. So I was a 4-5 at that time. I think it was like 10 years ago or something. And I played with my 3-5 partner who was fantastic. But we played uh, a duo who every time the female player missed a shot, the guy would say, we needed that, or he would just like groan or you like make some sort of stupid like noise about it. And I felt so bad for the partner, and she looked very forlorn and just looked at me, and I shook my head and she shook her head. And obviously, you know, they didn't do well. And I think it's underrated. You know, I've seen even my own team like a couple weeks ago where um, one of our guys missed the ball, and then the partner just was like looked frustrated. You could tell that that person was like mad at the partner. And you know, just generally speaking, you want to make your partner feel good, valued, like they can still play well even if they're making mistakes, that you can turn things around. And you know, I know it's natural for people to just react in a, you know, negative manner if you're like frustrated and things like that, but you just have to really keep in mind like what is the mission here. The mission is to play well, to win. How can I facilitate this? And it's not going to be by making your partner feel like crap. So you know, I like to use these certain phrases like you got this, play your game, let's go, all good, next point, you know, shake it off, things like that. And you know, these phrases, I think, just you know, the positive reinforcement, it really, it's not like it actually works. You know, there's been studies on this. I think a while ago, um I think it's just Jeff Salzenstein, who doesn't do tennis so much anymore, but he was telling me, and he's a former top 100 player, by the way, and he was saying that studies have shown that a spoken negative phrase or word is 10 times more absorbed than a spoken positive one. It was some stat like that, which is ridiculous. And so yeah, so basically, making your partner feel good, positivity. Also, what I like to do is every point to do either a racket tap or a hand slap, and again, it just like kind of builds on number two of communicate throughout the match to, you know, keep engaged, keep positive, you know, and just like that encouragement. And your partner will really appreciate it. They will enjoy playing with you more. And obviously, if they enjoy playing with you more and think that you're a positive person and cool, then things will go, you know, usually go well, better than they would go if you just kind of stayed silent and or you know, reacted negatively. And again, you know, if you do this and you know, it's not, don't beat yourself up over it, but just try to gradually change and incorporate some of these strategies. Peter, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of I've literally within the last 6 months had some communication with a handful of players, and I understand it when they are kind of saying, you know, the partner I'm playing with week in and week out, you know, they're kind of just messing me up, you know, and it absolutely could be true. You might be the stronger player by a lot, and you keep getting put with partners that you feel don't suit your game, and it can be very frustrating because you did sign up for the season for you. I mean, let's face it, when you say I want to be on a team, you want to be on a team because you want to play and you want to win and you want to have good experiences. So this advice again is easier said than done. I totally appreciate that. But one thing I want to remind you of is that it's not a partner, it's a person. You're playing with a
Yes.
person and not a partner. And it's not what they can do for you to help you win, right? And if they don't, then you don't want to be around them. And on our last broadcast we had, I said, remember, if you can take into a match that there is absolutely nothing but positive that can happen to you, that you're going to be up in a match, you're going to be even, and you're going to be down. And each situation is an opportunity to work on and get better. So let's say you have an entire season where it's just like, that's it. You're going to play with this partner, and it's just not going to be good. There's a good chance that you might go 0-18 and even get bumped down a level because of the partner you're stuck with, right? And that can happen. Still take that into account that, okay, if I can keep my cool this entire season and be a better partner under this kind of adverse situation, then ultimately in the long run, I'm going to be a better doubles player, because this is one of the biggest skills you need to work on, is how to be a partner that can play with multiple people. And it's usually a good thing when you're on the court on a doubles court. and you're usually able to make some positive things happen. And so just like everything, they always say like pain is temporary, right? But it's like, how do you deal with that pain? Are you a pain? Are you like giving off bad vibes? Uh, talking behind the person's back that you're playing with all season that you can't stand playing with them. I mean, these are things that happen. I think in a couple of years, you don't want to look back and say, oh yeah, when I played that one season with X player, I talked to my whole team and was basically saying the reason why we weren't winning was them, and that I want different partners. And remember, it's a person, so you're a little better than them at tennis. So what? I mean, everybody on this broadcast, me and Mehrban included, there's players that are like so many levels above us that if they're step on the court with us, we are the weak link. So remember that. The tables can turn real quick. And so remember, how would you want to be treated if you're the weak link for a season or a couple of matches?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you want to be successful, I mean, just look at the professional doubles players too. Like, who is reacting like that? I mean, to their partner? Nobody. So, yeah, no, great points, Peter. Appreciate that. Let's see. Any
See, we have a
other
question.
Yeah, let's see. So let's see. Oh, there's a comment. Excellent presentation as always. Learning a great deal. Thanks. Thank you, Artie. Appreciate that. Chris from Auckland, New Zealand. Thanks, guys. No problem. And then the question, Peter from Dick. Hello, Dick. How do you deal with, as the best player on the court, partner staying back and getting freezed out? It's a good question. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think what he's asking is like when the partner's staying back and then they're just hitting to the partner and like you're getting freezed out. I think that's what Dick probably means. Yeah, like you're the better player, but
I mean, there's definitely different for it. Again, it has to be that your partner is comfortable and agrees on the strategy.
Yes.
And this is where you got to have that open communication and asking them what they like to do, where they want to be, so you know what they like to do. And then taking the conversation to the next level is having that agreement of like, well, what do you think we could do to change the situation? If somehow you guys can, and you kind of want to lead by following, but get them to almost say like, man, if we could get you more opportunities at the net, what can we do to have you poaching more, crossing more, or should we try a different formation? Then you can do that. If you can't
Yes.
get there, I hate to say, I'll be interested to hear your thought, Mehrban. If you can't get there, maybe it's okay to take the L that day. I think that to take over by force and to be poaching more than you should and just trying things too much and making your partner feel like they're in the way and that you've got to take over the match. I don't know in recreational tennis if that's worth it. That wasn't something that I was willing to do. Like and I've seen that, especially in mixed doubles, where the guy is like, he knows he's the better player. He's not getting any balls, so he just imposes his will and is going on everything. And is this kind of overplaying to his capability, and they lose anyway. And plus, the person kind of comes off like a jerk, and definitely the partner kind of feels like, I don't know. What do you think? I might be wrong on this, but that's just my personal feeling.
Yeah, I think this really depends. Like one of my partners, I will not name, nice guy. So I played, what was it? I think it was 8-5. No, yes, 8-5 last year. So I was a 5-0. He was a 3-5. And he would actually stand and not move. And he'd give me like 3/4 of the court. And he told me, he's like, you got it, man. Like, if you can take it, take it. Like, I know you're, a better player. But otherwise, I do agree with you, Peter. I wouldn't want to be just like trying to like get every ball. It's like kind of you're indirectly saying to your partner like you're no good, like you can't handle anything. And I think by the same token though, you should try to do like what you can within reason, reasonable, poaching if they're comfortable with that, and like planned poaches, what I mean, and then also just trying to pick up balls at the net. But I think there is definitely like a line that's a bit crossed, and it's not in my nature either to do it. So yeah, I mean I would agree with you. It also kind of like I know you shouldn't necessarily care what other people think, but it also like looks just like kind of really odd, and like the guys, who guy or girl is a ball hog, and yeah, not the biggest fan of that, unless you talk with your partner and they're actually like telling you like, yeah, go for it, and they're comfortable with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the most obvious formation that can be kind of tricky to figure out is the I formation, So,
Yeah.
and then, oh, and I have another good one. So you have the I formation. So here's two good ones now that we kind of said, if you get your partner's sign off and you agree, I formations are great. And then GG's numbers play, right? To where if you're getting frozen out, because we always think of the first ball as our opportunity to either go or not, and then if the opportunity arises, then you can go. But Gigi has this one thing where she says to her partner, call it a 1, 2, or 3. So basically, like, and this is a good way to keep your opponents guessing, to where you're like, okay, if I call it a 2, that means that I'm not going to poach on the first ball. I'm going to poach on the second ball that crosses.
Love that.
If it's the third ball, then the first 2 are going to go by, and then I'm going to go on the third ball, and then we're going to switch. So they know you're going on the ball. So if it's third ball, 1, 2, and then you go on the third ball, then they know that, and they're going to follow behind you. So it's still a planned poach, but it's into a rally. And she only brings up the 3 because she's like, after that, I mean, most rallies don't go further than that. And then how can you really remember, like, oh, I said ball 6. Why did you leave on ball 5? So I think that's a great one. If you're getting frozen out, it's probably the best thing you can do once the point starts to still be able to get into the action.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And then, obviously, with your question, Dick, if you're at the net, then you can try to at least, help a bit more than if you were at the baseline. Okay, let's see what else. Maggie, I get much more nervous playing doubles and singles, no matter if my partner is nice or not, and my level drops a lot. What can I do, Peter and Mehrban? That's interesting. What do you think, Peter?
Well, I think also, Maggie, it's working on breaking out of your shell. I think the more a lot of times if we feel like we're the weaker player, we're insecure, we tend to take the following role, to where, and for most people, the following role is to go into their shell, and if they miss shots, say they're sorry. And that's the other thing too. I'm not a big fan of saying sorry a bunch. Maybe once in a while, in a while, hey, sorry, partner, I blew that, or whatever. But when it's, oh, I'm sorry, like, it gets, I hate to say this, it can get annoying. So you're like, okay, like, it's fine. Like, stop saying that, because then that your partner is not confident. So, it's okay to feel not confident inside, but when you're on the court, again, your job is to try and figure out how to win, whether you're the stronger player, the weaker player. And you've got to play a little bit of poker out there, right? You've got to fake it until you make it. You got to try and appear as confident for your partner as possible, even if they're better. And you want to be wanting to engage in conversation, and not conversation where you're always like, oh, I'm sorry, what do you want to do? Like you're both figuring out together. And the more you can work on that skill, you'll feel more comfortable out there. Then there's obviously the internal breathing you can do. There's the Jeff Greenwald, which I love, the physicality of grabbing and tightening your racket for 10 seconds and then letting it relax. There's certain things you can do like that. But I think the main thing is, because you're saying I feel much more nervous in doubles, I think it's probably this anxiety of letting your partner down. And the more you engage with them and realize, yes, it's just another person, it's a person, not a partner, and you can connect, then it can get fun.
Yeah, exactly. And just accept that, you're going to make mistakes. Your opponent's going to make mistakes. And the communication, I think you'll get more comfortable. Peter, I just made this banner for you because I think do you like that one? Sorry.
Oh, by the way, we've been asking, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but since this is doubles tonight, who would like Mehrban and I to do a doubles clinic or doubles camp? Not even just a clinic, it's a full-on camp. We're thinking about doing it at the end of July 26th to 28th, 3 full days. 8-3, 8-3, 8-12, lots of tennis. We got to dinner. Who thinks that that's a good idea? Let us know in the comments section. And we're strongly considering doing this, but we need the nudge and the okay from you guys before we start planning out all these details, right? Because as much as I love Mehrban, I want to run a doubles camp just with him there. And sorry, Mehrban.
It's hey, you said sorry. What the heck, man?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm not sorry.
Okay. Thanks for
Atlanta,
clarifying.
Georgia. Atlanta, GA.
That's right, Eddie. Let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Yes,
Do it.
Mike, do it. Mike, oh, that's a cool is that like AI or something, that picture? But do we stay back if our partner has a weak serve, even if our talent is at the net? Well, that goes back to, I was talking about strengths and weaknesses. I mean, my opinion is, if it's your talent, especially if your talent is at the net, I think that you should stay there unless you're truly getting destroyed on the returns and they're just like targeting you and you're unable to actually, get the volley back. I mean, I would say stay at net. Do you have any other thoughts on that, or do you agree or disagree?
Again, it depends on, Mike, what level you're playing at, and how weak the serve is, and also how good the other team is at picking on the serve. There's sometimes where the team is quite good at picking on weak serves. But I also like to tell people who don't have the best serve that, hey, as long as we can get a high percentage of first serves in, a lot of people just cannot make you pay for weak serves time and time again. They can do it once in a while. But if you're playing a team that it's like, man, they are just like crushing me at the net, then I don't think it's a bad idea to play back for one, and then after the first ball goes, then taking the net. So, that's fine. That actually can be quite easy to do too. Basically you stay back, they return to your partner. Let's say your partner's got a weak serve, but decent ground strokes. As that ball crosses and your partners get ready to hit, you then take the net. And that might be a nice little momentum play. It's like everyone's hitting their approach shot for you. And then that's easier to kind of get momentum and then break off and poach. So I don't think there's anything wrong with staying back and still being quite aggressive at the net during the match.
Yes, indeed. I love that there's so many comments and questions here, so we can take some more. Dick P, I think staying positive and playing your position, encouraging your partner, keeping body language strong. Yeah. I mean, strong as in, positive, not negative, of course. But yeah, definitely. Bees music works. Cool. Hey, Pete Mehrban, good to see you. Good to see you too, Bees. I definitely agree with you. When you overplay, sometimes you make a lot of mistakes and get out of position and finally look like a jerk. That's right.
Put Megan's comment down that she loved the Atlanta trip.
Megan, I saw that. Let's see. I did the Atlanta trip. Atlanta with Peter, and it was awesome.
She was here.
Awesome. And then she says, the dinners in Atlanta were the best. I need those shrimp and lobster spring rolls shipped to me. Oh, man. Well, I don't think we should sit next to each other, Megan, because I'm allergic to shellfish.
Yeah, she was just here. She was awesome.
It's okay. Just don't cough on me or anything. I mean, because of the allergy.
She's also going to Cincinnati.
Yes. Nice, Megan. Yeah, hope to see you in the doubles camp as well. Wonderful. Let's see what else. Oh, sorry. Wait. What the heck? Oh, I said sorry. All right, Mark. It's no fun playing with the hothead. I know I was one. Haha. That's good. You recognize it.
I was one too.
Yeah. And Mark's been on a lot of these sessions. Great to see you. I always tell my partner we don't need to say sorry after mistakes. We aren't doing it on purpose, right? Exactly. I remember I was hitting with a buddy, and I guess like maybe one of his feeds was off, and then he said sorry, and then like I kind of hit a winner early, and I said sorry, and then we started making fun of each other, saying sorry, like just because it is annoying after a while. Yeah, just randomly remembered that. Mike, also, if your serve is good but your partner can't hit a ball at the net to save their life, is your plan to just serve and volley, even knowing the opponents will just hit it back to partner baseline? What do you think?
Well, okay. I mean, it's a couple of things too. Like, again, Mike, don't be throwing your partner. I know you're not naming your partner, but I think the mindset of how you feel about playing with partners is maybe something you should work on. But I'll just take it at face value. If your partner can't hit a ball at the net to save their life, is your plan to just serve and volley, even knowing the opponents will just hit back to your partner at the partner baseline? Hit to your partner at the baseline.
So maybe he's saying, well, if the partner can't hit it the net, then you move them to the baseline, but then they'll still hit it back to to your partner at the baseline. Maybe.
I don't know. I was a little lost on that. But again, if your partner, let's say your partner cannot volley to save their life, and let's say they say to you, I can't volley to save my life. Let's say they say that, like, I'm no good at the net. Then you could say, hey, no problem. Would you like the baseline? Are you more comfortable with the baseline? Oh yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm a singles player, so I'm like comfortable at the baseline, but I just don't like the net. No problem. People say you should be at the net, but I mean, I've seen a lot of teams win at the baseline. So I'll be at the net most of the time. You take care of the baseline. Let's have fun. Like, it's got to be a conversation like that. Yeah.
Totally. Denise, I'd love to attend the double scam. Wonderful. You should join us. Beth, do it as you had mentioned. Let's see. Denise, yeah, it's in Atlanta. What else? Eddie, I'm in. Fantastic. Megan did say she wanted to be in New York City, which will be, I think it's in Atlanta. It's set already. So, but that'd be cool to do it there sometime. Conrad, interested in if your camp is in Los Angeles. Oh, that's
maybe one day we'll do one with John Craig out there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
John, if you're watching, maybe we can get that going.
John, let's do it. Let's see what else. Denise, keep us posted. Oh yeah, Megan said NYC. Scott, interested. Donald, Atlanta, great, especially when snowbirds are south. That's right. Lisa, doubles camp would be great. Can't make it this year, so please do next year. And okay, so let me keep going, and then I'll restart like the questions again and whatnot.
Okay.
If that works. Yes. So I found this one to be really huge for my and my partner's success, which is stop and talk strategy in the big moments or bad streaks. So I think I mentioned this like briefly about the communication part, because obviously some just mix into the other tips as well. But there's been many times where we've been down love 40 serving, and maybe a couple of the points happen quickly, bad streak, and so you talk to your partner, you reset. You say, all right, let's go 1 point at a time. What do we want to do to execute? And it really focuses you and your partner on the most important thing of all, which is the execution, the process, not the results, right? So, at that point, you're thinking, oh, crap, love 40, we're screwed. But then you stop, you slow down, you slow the heart rate, you relax a bit. And then you talk about what are we going to do this point, and then you do that, and then maybe you change different formation, whatever. But that has been key. I can remember many times that my partner and I've come back from a love 40, a love 30, doing that, and I truly think that has been the key. Just to stop and talk when you're having bad streaks, and also of course very similarly, right? Like if it's a huge point. You do want to get on the same page, just much like, in football or basketball or whatever, when they call a timeout, they get the team together and they say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z, whatever. So really important in those big points, instead of kind of just, not talking and kind of being nervous and like, oh, I wonder where my partner is going to serve. Like, how's this point going to go? You can plan it out and say, all right, I'm going to serve down the tee. If I get it there and the player hits a backhand on this deuce point, then you poach since you're pretty good at volleying, and they're probably not going to go down the line on this important point. So then you'll likely have a forehand volley, things like that. So yeah, I think it's a great strategy. I've used it to great effect, and no matter what hole that we've been in, sometimes you don't win the game, but you at least win a point or two, and you kind of like stop the streak of losing points. And then other times you're gonna win the game, pivotal game. Actually, this was a practice match that comes to my forefront of my mind, but I was playing doubles with my friend Kate, and we were down we were down actually 4-love, 40-love. Okay. And we talked it out at 40-love. They were serving actually, even worse. And we talked it out, did some planning, things like that. And sure, we did get maybe lucky on a couple points in that game where they missed some volleys that weren't easy, but we ended up coming back and winning 7-6. So yeah, that was huge too, right? If we didn't slow down and we just kind of kept going like, oh God, this is going terribly. We're down 4-love, 40-love. What the hell? We would have lost for sure, like 6-0, 6-1, something like that. So yeah, what do you think about that strategy, Peter?
Well, here's a couple things. Number one, it is so important what you said. As far as, I love when you said when it's going bad on a basketball court, they call a timeout, and it's completely normal. And you probably, if you're any type of sports fan and you're watching football or basketball or any sports where there's timeouts and your team is getting slaughtered, you're probably thinking, call a timeout. You got to call. And it's amazing how few tennis players at the recreational level call timeouts and let's get together. Let's take longer in between points. Let's try and figure out, it's amazing how there's not even the little conversations. We've had a lot of conversations about the weaker player tonight. People like that. They tend to comment the most on that. Like, how do I deal with this weak player? But there's very few conversations, it seems like, and I watch you guys play a lot, where you get together and you're losing and you have a conversation like, let's make sure that we don't hit it to, John, he's on fire. X person doesn't like the net. Let's make them play volleys. Just simple strategies you can implement. You're not at all problem solving. You're problem solving most time on doubles court is, I hope I start hitting the ball better. I hope I start returning better. I hope I start volleying better. I hope I start serving better. That's how most people solve problems. But you have to realize lots of days you're just not going to have it. It can get a little better. Your return might get a little better. Well, how can you win a match with a bad return? You can certainly do it. How can you win a match when you're not serving great? It can be done. Problem solve is key. And the other thing, the great Rafa Nadal lost yesterday at Madrid. And just like he always does in victory and defeat, he always teaches the same lesson. You fight to the last point. And one of the things that you'll notice, like he was getting outplayed yesterday. That guy was like his kryptonite. It reminded me of like Soderling 2.0. Whenever he plays like a big guy who can just pummel the ball, even off Rafa's heavy topspin, then that can be a formula for him to be upset. And that's what that guy was doing. And Rafa was not playing his best. He hasn't played in a long time. I mean, there's no way he's near his top or probably will ever get back to his top. And what he was doing is, I love when he won certain points and he was still down, but it'd be a certain points. And even though he's losing, he made 1 point feel like he just won 5 points. Mm-hmm. And that got the crowd energized. That kept him in the match. At one point, I think the match ended up being 7-5, 6-4, but it looked like it was about to be like 7-5, 6-1. Like it looked like it was going that direction. I think he got down 3-1, and it looked like, man, this guy's about to run away with it. But just that will to keep fighting and to show the energy that he's not going away makes the other guy nervous, makes him feel like I can still do this. So that's another thing that you and your doubles partner want to do. If you get down 3-0 and you're down love 30 and there's a good point, like I've seen this all the time. You're down 3-0, it's love 30, you play a good point, and then you both just walk back to the next, like where you're going to go return and serve. And I'm like, that's a point where you need to come together, give each other the high five, let them know, like act like you guys won 4 or 5 points in that 1 point. Like I cannot stress how important stuff like that is.
100%, Peter. Yeah, gives that vibe off like, hey, you're sorry, that you're still in it, you're still fighting, and definitely, put some seed of doubt into the other team if you, kind of show what you're all about with that type of action. So thank you, Peter. Let's see. Lots of comments and questions. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh, here we go. Mm, Lisa, also, how do you feel about a net person that hunts at the net? Okay, so maybe like an opponent that is just always trying to poach and pick off your shots. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think it can definitely be overdone. You know, it's one thing to be aggressive, but it's another thing to keep jumping in front of your partner's ball. And I see a lot of people who like to be aggressive, and they'll poach, and they're getting to the ball below the net to their backhand. You have to think, like, if I'm going to go, especially if you're just like, it's not a planned thing and you're just going because you see an opportunity. Think about, well, once I get there, how much of an advantage am I at when I go to volley this? Like, I see people poaching and they're barely getting to the ball, and the ball's below the net to where they have to volley up. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with that ball anyway if you can make it? I mean, most of the time they don't even make the shot. But I'm like, what if you did make that? You missed it anyway, but what if you made it? What were you going to do with it? So don't be aggressive just to be aggressive. It's all a timing thing. And the more you can learn to go at the right time and hit volleys that are easy to put away, then you're going at the right time. If you keep poaching and find yourself in difficult situations to hit the volley, your timing's probably off, or you're choosing the wrong balls to go after. Okay. I'm not talking about a plan poacher like we're going no matter what. I'm talking about, you're in the point and you just go because you just see the ball and you just go across because you want to get there. But think about, once you get there, how easy is that shot going to be for you? And if the answer is, well, it's not going to be very easy, I'm just going to make the shot, I could make it, then don't go get it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Pete. Thanks for that. Maggie, muchas gracias. It is very insightful, and the mindfulness tips perfect. I will fake I am a pro, as my coach says, until I play as one. Nice.
I love that.
Nice.
Good coaching.
Yeah. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Megan, yes, so excited for Cincy. Awesome. Mark, maybe talk about asking him to start back. Oh yeah, a couple questions before about the not comfortable with the net. Yeah, totally. That's what I would do. Why force them, to play to their weakest game?
In the house.
Tennis house. Where's this man? Oh, here we go. Davor. Hey guys, another amazing live. Thanks so much, Davor. Appreciate it. We have to do an influencer online coaches doubles match. Let's go.
Ooh.
I'm down. Okay. Oh man, I'm scared. I bet Davor, he's gonna.
Davor's a baller.
Yeah,
for
I don't know.
Last year, he made a backhand video and he was just crushing the ball. I was like, wow, that's amazing. He's pretty good.
Okay, so me and Davor against Peter. Just kidding. Sure. No, we'll figure it out. That would be so awesome, though, man. I like the tournament.
That would be fun.
Yeah, totally. We should go down there, vice versa. Where was I? Denise, great advice. We just always encourage our partners, no matter what. Heck yeah, Denise, exactly. Buskar, very cool name. Hi, Pete Mehrban.
Going to Cincinnati as well.
Oh my God. Did you just get your Cincinnati crew in this?
Cincinnati camps. He did both.
Dang. Nice. I love it. You've got such a great group, Peter. Always good to see you as well. Would want to come to Atlanta to meet you and Matt B and have a coffee during the tennis break. That's right.
Coffee break tennis.
Coffee break tennis.
Coffee break tennis, baby. The best tennis talk show on the internet.
Well played with that wordplay there, Bhaskar. All right, Eddie T. Hotlanta end of July will be hot. That's right.
But I have the shady court in Atlanta. It's shady. Feels good.
Nice. Good job, Peter. Julian, interested when it is in Belgium. Damn, that would be a cool camp. Yeah. Isn't Justin heading Hardin? Huh?
Yeah, I think Justine was from there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just double checking. Yeah, Belgium. It's cool. Yeah, what a backhand. Speaking of backhands.
Oh yeah.
Man, crazy. Omar, is there a best shot in doubles, flat topspin, or slice? Talking about rallies, not serves. Interesting question. What do you think, Peter?
That's a great question. Well,
Mm.
first of all, I'm going to go back to the confidence meter and the skill. A
Yeah.
lot of people want to, especially if we have the online crowd on here, most likely you guys are searching how to hit topspin forehands, how to hit backhands, how to hit like the best players, right? And so certainly if you can hit a good solid topspin cross court and doubles, that's a great shot, right? And if you can add the right mix of topspin and flatten it out, it's going to be going across the net faster lots of times than someone can poach. So that is very tempting to want to master and to picture yourself doing. However, it is harder to do if you don't have it mastered, right? If it's like kind of good, if it's better than most of your friends, but it's still not like, you have to admit, it's not like I hit it like a junior. Like I just hit it better than most of my friends. And this is where you get frustrated, because then when the pressure comes in a match, lots of times your shot then starts to break down because what you're doing is harder than some of your friends and opponents who can't hit topspin like you do, because it requires you to, when you're doing it well, to have acceleration, confidence, and timing, and really good technique. It requires all of those. If one of those falls apart, now all of a sudden you're like spraying the ball everywhere. So I do think it's very, very important for everybody here who plays doubles to develop a old school chip.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be probably your saving grace for when you get nervous. If you can learn how to chip it cross court and be able to hit a chip fast. Like I'm sure if Devore, we asked him, hey, demonstrate a chip forehand or backhand and hit it hard, I'm sure he could hit it like a bullet. Lob it over the net person, hit a little short little angle shot. So I don't think there's one size fits all on this. You want to be able to hit
Yeah.
top spin and be able to hit it kind of flat and through the court, cross court, so you can't get poached on that easy. But you also want to have that chip for so much variety, getting to the net. And also when you get nervous, if you have that in your back pocket, right, you just keep making a ton of unforced errors, you're going to thank me later when you actually work on it.
Yeah, I think as many tools as you can develop is the best, I mean, it really depends. And what roles are you playing on the court as well? Like we do talk about how, one person is the setter, the other person's the spiker in doubles. And like for me, like my strengths are, topspin forehand. I like to hit the ball, deep, heavy, with a lot of topspin deep so that my partner can get a shorter or a weak reply and put it away. But I also still utilize slice approaches and angles and all sorts of things, dipping shots. So yeah, yeah, it's a tough question there, but Peter, good answer. Dick, I play a lot of mixed dubs. I play against spouses. Annoying when the husband gives advice.
Oh yeah, that's super annoying.
Shut up, honey.
It just
Nah, don't do that.
it just can be overbearing sometimes.
Yeah.
That it doesn't happen often, but when I've been uncomfortable in a camp, it usually is when I've seen it both ways. I've seen the wife really kind of boss the husband around, so it's not always just the guy. And I've seen the guy boss the wife around, and it just is like, oh no, like I feel sick watching this. So
I know, right? Cool. I'm gonna go on. I cannot believe it's already almost an hour. That's crazy. Um, okay, so I'm gonna do a few more. I think this one is really underrated. Uh, Giving your partner options instead of telling them what to do. So this is actually also like I remember seeing this as a coaching strategy in terms of like if you're like a life coach, giving your um person who you're coaching options. But this is really important in tennis as well because kind of like what we talked about, where if you try to take over the court and hit every shot, it's kind of making your opponent feel inferior. By a similar token, if you are giving your partner at least options or asking them like, what do you think we should do this point? You have them more involved. You have them thinking strategically, which is exactly what you want your partner to be doing and you to be doing, of course. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a great a great strategy to follow. And also, I mean, it's really important to give them the options and talk about it, because sometimes you think, oh, wow, I have this great tactic that's going to work during this point in the match. But then maybe your partner isn't actually comfortable with that tactic. Maybe you tell them, hey, poach from the ad side to the do side, but maybe they have a really crappy backhand volley, but they just do it because you tell them to, instead of, you know, talking with them about what you think you should do as a team, and then finding out, like, what do they like to do, what plays do they like, things like that. So um yeah, that's pretty much the next tip. But yeah, I really think, again, just talking through and not saying do this, but rather, what do you think we should do, or here's a couple options, what do you think would work best, is superior. So what do you think?
Well, one thing I want everybody to notice, and again, Mehrban is 18-1 this year with 7 different partners. Okay. And all his tips tonight have been communication tips. He hasn't really
Yes.
been giving, run this play, run that play, use
Mm.
this technique, use that technique, kick it to the backhand. Like, none of that. It's all been about how to work with your partner. So, again, it's something that unfortunately goes in one ear and out the other ear. Like, it's one of those things like, yeah, it's important. I get it. Like, and then, well, did you do it? No, I didn't do it. So if you can start doing this stuff, it's going to make a difference. It's something you got to work on. It doesn't come naturally, because lots of times you're going to want to engage, and then the person you're playing with is not. So then what do? You know, you gotta figure out the finesse of engaging without wanting to have too many long conversations. I think the best thing to do, the easiest way to get someone to engage, is always ask them what they want to do. I think if you're always going to them and saying, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we do that? And then you think like, oh, I'm doing a good job communicating. Then, again, somebody who doesn't like to talk that much probably is not going to want to hear your next great, idea you've come up with. But if it's always like, hey, what's your idea? What do you want to do now? Where should we go? All that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Then people more want to talk about that stuff.
Exactly, exactly. Great addition, Peter. And yeah, all about communication. But my next tip: kick it to the backhand, fool. You see that, Peter? I'm just kidding.
Oh my
I'm just
God.
kidding. I'm kidding. That's not. That was. That's just,
You're quick.
my.
You're so stealthy too. Like, you're typing down there, but we can't tell. Pretty
That's
good.
right. I'm typing a novel right now. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Let's see if we can go to some more questions. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. We did that. Paul, I started the talent code. Thanks, Pete. Awesome. That was a
Greatest
great
book ever.
presentation.
If you want to improve at a skill, read that.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for, letting us know about that, Peter. Maggie, let's do the camp in Acapulco. Seriously. Man, that'd
That'd be
be
fun.
pretty cool. Yeah, Nancy, I've been told when you're losing badly, change something. Discuss. Peter, what do you think?
Well, yeah, again, it all starts with the communication. Really, if you start in the beginning of the match and more asking your partner what they like to do, like we've been talking about, then it becomes easier to then, when you get down a couple games, to go, what do you think's happening to us? Like, what are you seeing out there? Stuff like that. Again, rather than coming up with the idea like, hey, we're losing, let's try this. Why don't you go there? Again, not gonna work as well as, man, what are you seeing out there? We're down 3-0. Like, what's happening? Oh, the guy we're playing. Don't you notice that guy is like awesome? He's not missed the ball. Oh, maybe we should try and hit to the other person. They haven't hit many balls. Just like spotting little things like that. It doesn't always have to be like a change of formation or anything like that. It doesn't have to be that drastic. It can sometimes be a simple change.
Yeah, yeah, really good advice there. Hit the nail on the head. Alex, pretend to talk strategy even if it's nonsense. Well, yeah, I mean, I think just at least communicating, even if you don't have a strategy, is better than nothing. I guess if it's truly nonsense, I don't know. But yeah, just talking is good, but strategy is probably a little bit more optimal. But let's see what we got. Megan, how to be more mentally tough. Oof, that's a tough one. There's so much we can talk about. Peter?
Yeah, that's a big one. I just think it really boils down to being prepared. The more you feel prepared out there, just like, how do you go in mentally tough for a test at school? You've done your work. You've done your work behind the scenes, so you're ready to let the chips fall where they may. And the more you do that with your tennis game, you will be more mentally tough. That's my opinion.
Yeah, the Junior Tennis Champions Center, which is somewhat close to me in Maryland here, their slogan is trust your training. And I think that's so true. Just being able to know confidently like I've worked on this shot a lot and I can rely on it.
Yeah,
is
like
is huge.
I'm gonna give a full disclosure here. If I went out and played a match tomorrow against somebody good, I'm not gonna be mentally tough, because I know the work it takes to go out there and play a good match. I know what it feels like to be prepared. If somebody says, "Hey, go on a live stream in 5 minutes with anybody," I'm ready. Like, because I'm doing it all the time. I'm coaching all the time. I'm
Yeah.
working on my business all the time. Like, that's what I'm working on. So I feel good about that. I'm not working on my tennis game. I'm working at other people's tennis games. So, and I at one point in my life worked on my tennis game a lot. So I know what it feels like to be prepared. And so if I went out and played a match tomorrow, I'm not going to feel, if I play good, I'm going to be like, man, I kind of got lucky because I really don't deserve to play good because I know the work it takes to go out there and play the way I think I'm capable of.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%, Peter. Same. I'd be the same exact way. Let's see.
Well, not you. You're playing on 5 teams.
No, I know. I'm saying like if
See,
I
Mehrban's the opposite. Mehrban's mentally tough right now because he's playing on 5 or 6 teams. He's 18-1. He is doing that. So he kind of knows within a spectrum of what's going to happen out there on the court, within reason. And he's getting all these situations coming up all the
yeah.
time. So he's prepared for matches.
Definitely a lot of tie breaks. Yeah, sorry, I meant to clarify. Like, if I was in your position of like teaching a ton and not playing, then I'd be the same way in terms of not feeling so comfortable. I've been like that many times where I haven't, like, I remember in juniors, like, I'd go where I wouldn't play for like a week, and then I just straight to the tournament, which is
Oh
stupid as
yeah, it's
heck.
the worst.
Oh my god, yeah, I just feel like what the hell? I'm gonna play like crap, and yeah, it was really tough. Sometimes pull through, sometimes not. But let's see, Danita. What about when your opponent is getting mad, I think, because you and your partner are high-fiving and vocally raving each other up with phrases like "come on, right here, right now." I mean, how loud is it really? Like, I mean, I think in generally speaking, this is totally fine. Like, what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think for the most part, that is your opponent's problem.
Yeah, too
Okay.
sensitive.
Can it at times be overdone? I'm not saying it can never be overdone. Overall, I'm a big fan of come on, right here, right now. Overall, I'm a fan of that. But can it be overdone and obnoxiously done? Of course. So it's a lot of times, it's not what you say, but how you say it and when you do it and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think that's usually just the opponent's issue that they're losing.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Um, I've got a couple more that I'm going to that I want to mention as well in terms of the strategies for how to win with any doubles partner. So we did talk about some limitations about this, but I do think in general I'm a fan of this to be as active as possible, especially as net. But I mean, again, like you don't want to be overbearing, but I just wanted to put this here because, like, from my experience, especially when I'm playing with weaker players, one of the best places I can help is at the net because if I was, let's say, staying at the baseline and being passive, then like a lot more shots would be directed towards my partner. which, if they're the weaker player, obviously, we have a less chance to win. But if you can stay active at the net, then you can either pick off more shots. You can poach if you plan it with your partner, or if you can, just kind of pinch the middle and get shots that way. And also, like, even just by being active at net, like fake poaches, for example, then you're going to cause errors from the opponents when they're returning, for example. So I do think just improving your net movement in itself will really help you to help your partner out and kind of relieve some pressure off of them. So definitely something that I think, especially kind of the sub 4-0 levels, are kind of a bit too static at the net. So this is something that you should be trying to integrate in your doubles game. So yeah,
100% agree. One thing that I like to kind of poke fun at is sometimes it looks like recreational doubles players are chess pieces out there. Like they're just in their spots and they're standing there, and you could move them like a chess piece rather than being active and
yeah,
on your feet. It's one of the things that we're going to do here coming up. I'm going to go out and film tomorrow. Actually, should be a nice day. The 3-day Move Like a Pro footwork challenge, and it's something that you've got to work on. I'm a big believer over the years. The more I watch and see it, I've come to the conclusion you cannot tell or yell at yourself to move your feet. A coach cannot tell or yell at you to move your feet, because that stuff, if you don't train your feet, that stuff can only work temporary. It might work for a point or two, but if it's not an ingrained habit, it's going to go away just like a forehand or backhand or whatever you're weak at. And so you want to get in this habit of, I call it the boxer shuffle. If you want to know how to move your feet in doubles, just go watch the Bryan brothers, because it's obvious. Watch old videos of the Bryan brothers. I was at an exhibition where the Bryan brothers playing, and it was my better half, Yvonne, who's not a tennis player, and she said to me, she's like, look at and they were not playing tennis when she was pointing the stuff out, it was getting ready for a serve or a return. And she would point out that the Bryan brothers would always move their feet the exact same way at the same exact time and have their split step at the same exact time. And she noticed it, and she pointed that out to me. And I thought that was great that she noticed that, because I was like, oh, that's so cute that she noticed that. But it also was kind of cool that it was so obvious how much they moved and the way they moved in sync, that obviously is a habit that they have developed. Okay. So, yeah, I'm done on that.
no, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's see what else we got here. Robert, some players don't look at this smiley face. Some partners don't handle encouragement, especially after an error. How do you handle that? Do you ask them before the match? What do you think?
Well, again, I think you are always, you control what you can control, right? And so there are some partners you're going to play with. You're going to hear this podcast or lesson, however you want to describe this tonight, and you might go out tomorrow and try some of the stuff that we're telling you to do, and you might just be playing with somebody who is a grouch, and you might then use that as like the scapegoat of like, I tried to talk with them, they wouldn't talk with me, no one wants to talk with me. It doesn't work in recreational tennis. Like, you could very well have that where, because unfortunately it's more the norm than it is not, that people that play recreational tennis, they are into themselves. They are not into working with a partner. It doesn't come natural, and it can feel like pulling teeth. And that's why you have to learn how to, again, engage them, lead by following, and make the conversations quick. Like Mark Woodford led by following, but it wasn't like he came over to me as like a counselor, like, oh, how are you feeling now, Pete? What's going on? Or would you like to talk about how you're playing? No, it's very, very quick. It's like, hey, mate, where do you like to serve on the deuce side? I like to go up the middle. All right, go for it. Like, it was very, very quick and comfortable. It wasn't awkward. Okay. And he did it in the flow. Like, if I'm going to walk and get a ball to serve, a lot of times he'd be walking with me. I wouldn't have to then, he wouldn't it wouldn't be awkward where you have to come together, like walk together and then figure it out. Usually it would be where he would come get me and we'd hook up and start talking. And if you watch the pro tour, that's how they do it. It's usually the person who's responsible for the next play to hit the first ball. Usually it's the other person that should go talk to them rather than them have to figure out how to come walk to you. So if somebody's going to return, you know, and you're going to be at the service box, you should go up to them first and talk about, you know, come on, let's get a good return, or where do you want to return, stuff like that. If they're going to serve, again, if you're the net person, you run back to them, you walk and talk to them in the flow real quick, and then you go.
Sorry, I was muted because I was coughing, but yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, good strategy there, Peter. Eddie, do you think the chip is even more important on clay to keep the ball low? The chip is really effective on the clay. I mean, I was playing this like 9-5 mixed combo tournament sectionals, which trophy right here. I think Mark was saying show your trophy. But we had some, the courts were basically really whack at certain areas where they would just like die if you would chip the ball, especially. So I do think it's like particularly effective on clay. I don't know what you think, Peter, about that.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Good stuff. All right, let's see what else. Sharon, my partner likes playing the deuce, so I play ad. I felt she had my back. If I missed the ball at net, she had me covered. My net game improved. Great communication with her. Beautiful. Beautiful, Sharon. Love that. Mike, speaking of mix, any shame in going after the weaker player, even if she is in the better position? I would say no shame at all. You know, it's just, it's tennis, right? I mean, I've definitely been in a lot of situations in mix where, you know, and Peter just talked about it earlier too. You know, you kind of figure out who is the weaker player, who's the stronger player, and you can go after the weaker player. There's no shame at all. You know, the only shame would be if like you're intentionally like trying to hit her, you know, or something like that. But even then, you know, what I try to do is I try to like go for the feet area or something like that. So that's very, you know, like it's very hard for them to make the shot, but you're not like going like straight at them or something like that. But no shame. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, Peter?
Again, it's people are out there, they want to play. So a lot of it is fair game, but at the end of the day, you have to realize, you know, what level are you at compared to who you're going after and how are you going after them? Because one thing I've noticed in mixed doubles, lots of times people will say, bring it on and all this stuff. But then, you know, I've also had plenty of people come to me like, I can't believe like they had this ball and they had an easy put away. And then they like they went head hunting after me. Like, so again, you're playing against people and lots of times it's social and you want to be able to, you know, social, hang out with them after the match rather than just get a win. So I think you could certainly go at the weaker side when there's a put away, but it's all about how you do it and how much stronger are you than the opponent and how much weaker are they. Like it's all, you know, like, hey, if I got a ball sitting up and let's say Gigi Fernandez was somehow playing with a weaker play, a stronger partner, right? But it's damn Gigi Fernandez. I mean, if I had to play a high volley, I don't think I'd feel very guilty about hitting a hard volley at her because I know that even though maybe she's not the strongest player on the court, although that probably would rarely happen because she won 17 Grand Slams. So I'm just picking a probably an awful example. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Like that's fair game if she's the weaker player because she's pretty damn good enough to deal with anything. But if somebody is like really not equipped to deal with a ball that you know you're capable of hitting 9 miles an hour, then it's probably not a good idea to hit the ball at them 9 miles an hour. You know, that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good perspective, Pete. I mean, I'm kind of like basing off of my experience, which is just like playing like, you know, tournaments and really important matches where it's like, if you can identify the weaker player, like, you know, I think it's fine to go, you know, at, you know, not directly at them, but like, you know, on their side and things like that. But yeah, definitely depends. And, you know, if it's social doubles that, might not want to overdo that. Omar, thanks guys. No problem. Mark, show your trophy. Oh yeah, it's back there. Showed it earlier. Dick P. I don't know if we can Let's see if we can. Can you share the movement of the receiving partner? Highly missing info. So would this be the receiving part, like the partner at the net of the receiving
The
partner?
movement of the receiving partner.
Receiving partner. Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
Hmm.
well, it would. It's just kind of like doing the same thing as far as on the Bryan brothers kind of like are hopping on their toes, and then when they're going to get ready, then they kind of get down to a crouch at the same time, and then when the serve's going, they kind of split step to their spot at the same time, except for one's returning and one is usually looking at making a move to get to the middle. But we can't really do that on tonight's live stream. So, but
Yeah,
that's
that's tough.
as
Some
best I
point.
can describe it.
Gotcha. Let's see. Oh, my friend Mike, solid core for mental toughness. Yeah, that's actually a class exercise class that we're doing. Me and Mike and Kate and Byron, shout out. Yeah, very tough class. So definitely check that out if you haven't yet. Arash, hey guys, any chance you guys can talk about why some players play so much better against better players? Well, I feel that it's much easier to kind of elevate your game against better players because I think that a lot of players have this problem when they play weaker players and their game goes down. But then, like, I think when you play better players, you kind of get excited that they're high level and like I want to perform and show what I can do and things like that. But there's also like less pressure to win. So because you're playing a better player. So I think that ends up just working out where, you're able to elevate. And I actually experienced this was it a week and a half ago or so? I had a government league match and it was me. So I'm, 4-5 was 5-0 last year. And then another 4-5 player who's also like, borderline 5-0 as well. But we played against two very good 5-0 players. Like one of them was my 5-0 partner last year, and he's like considered like a top level 5-0. And then the other guy is also like a very good 5-0. He played like 5-0 nationals called tri level. So we played them. And when I saw them, I was actually thinking, "Oh man, like how the heck are they for playing for this agency? We're in trouble." But then I said, you know what? Like, let's just play our game. Also, I like clay, like it suits my game, and let's have fun out there. And we actually won. Like honestly, I wasn't even thinking we would win. Like, I mean, normally I'm like more neutral about these things, but like when I saw those two as a pair, I was like really shocked, and I thought, oh man, we're gonna have a tough D out here. And we started like down 4-1 and things like that, but then second set we just grinded back and won that. So we lost like 6-2 first set, then we won 7-6, and then we were up in the tiebreak and had to stop. But I mean, we effectively won that match. So I don't know. I mean, that's my thoughts on it. You're kind of more relaxed, and it's easier to rise to the level of the better player. But what are your thoughts, Peter? Maybe they're totally different from mine.
No, I mean, I totally agree. I think most people prefer to play against better players because of a lot of things you said. It's less pressure. I would just add the two. Usually, when it's like a level, but half a point, right? Not like a full level, but if it's half a
Mm,
point higher than you, then typically the rhythm feels better because they just hit a better ball, which feels
mm,
better and it's more predictable. So the play gets more predictable. Lots of times, if you're frustrated, I find that, I mean, most people on this call are going to be between 3-0 and 4-0, maybe some 4-5s, right? So at the 3-0 and 3-5 level, a lot of people get frustrated playing against certain opponents because they end up losing and the match just feels ugly because some people are just very good at hitting shots that they don't mean. Like they seem to always make shots that they don't even mean, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, and somehow the ball just goes in. And that can be a tough way to play because you're always uneasy of what they're going to do because sometimes they don't even know what they're going to do. Where as you play somebody who has just way more experience and it's another level up, you're going to see that they end up kind of running the plays that are talked about. They studied the game more. So a lot of stuff that you're learning at the tennis summit, they actually do. You're like, oh, they play smart. They hit the ball here. So you know where they're going to kind of play the smart shot. And
mm.
their ball just feels nicer to play against. So I think that's probably the biggest thing out here for most of the people watching this.
That's right. That's right. Mike says, that's me with all unconventional shanks and slices that go in. Yes. Tricky players are tricky to play against. So, yeah, for sure. Um, I guess maybe we can take a couple more, Peter, and then maybe we should kind of talk about, the big bonuses that you got for us.
That's
But
right. Tonight's the last night.
man, the last night, I can't believe it. Sharon, balls keep being returned to my partner. How do I get into the game? What's the best way to communicate with my partner without her thinking she's being targeted? Hmm.
Yeah. So first of all, I know Sharon very well, and it's what we talked about earlier. It's it's formations, and also the 1-2-3 poach. And Sharon, you can even do that. It doesn't have to, because I know you like the baseline. You guys can even do that at the baseline. You could be like, okay, on the second ball, we're going to switch over, and But again, it has to be your partner liking these ideas rather than being forced into it.
Yes.
So that's the big part of it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I mean, I think it's okay to tell her like, hey, I think they're trying to hit to your side more, so let's adjust by doing this. I don't think you necessarily have to shield it from your partner, but let's see. So this one, I don't think I can answer that. Maybe you've heard of it, Peter. Have you read The Art of Doubles: Winning Tennis Strategies and Drills by Pat Blaskauer? Can you comment on her California doubles positioning for the net player? Yeah,
I cannot.
I can't either. I started Googling it and it seems interesting, but I do have to dig further because it seems like kind of a pretty systematic formation and whatnot. So I'll have to look at that, or system rather. I'm asking about partners' mental toughness. So they need to be more prepared, or is it nerves? And how do I help them to be tougher? Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of what we talked about, the positive language and focusing on the strategies and the process, and also, yeah, I mean, also like if you know that you're going to play with them, try to set up practices. Some of the teams that are more diligent than others, like they're saying, okay, like you're going to be with this player, like let's set up weekly practices or whatever here and there, and play with them. So I think playing with them more often is going to help them as well, and that positive encouragement and strategy talking. So yeah, I think that's about it. Maggie, yeah, Mehrban, thank you, Maggie. And then I really like this from Mark. Sometimes rather launching into tactics, I ask my partner what's going through their head. Talking strategy may cause more problems sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to say, figure out what's going on first, and rather than maybe like overflowing them with tactics. But yeah, that's a good one. Okay, Peter, I think this is a good time to talk about the all access pass, because it is the last night. So it's the last opportunity to get access to all the different lessons and bonuses and more. Plus Peter has once again, he's surpassed expectations, and he's giving us like a really amazing bonus package that in itself is worth more for sure than the price of the all access pass. So let me bring that slideshow up and just talk you through it. So
Tonight is the last night. This is it. We want to thank you guys so much for being a part of it. And so many people tonight have been on every single live stream. So really, really awesome. And most of those people have upgraded as well already. So I just want to thank you for supporting the Tennis Summit again.
Yeah, thanks so much for supporting us. We have staff that are doing tons of hours of work on everything, with the summit. So thank you, and helping us to keep putting this event together. So yeah, obviously you get lifetime access to all of the master classes here, everything that you've seen, perhaps, throughout the previous week. But you also will get the MP3 downloads, so you can listen to all of these sessions anytime, anywhere that you want. I like to listen to them in the car, or while I'm cooking, or in the shower, things like that. which I do need to start cooking more again. And also you get transcripts of all the summit sessions. So really cool if you want to actually just read what these amazing coaches are trying to coach you on. That can be nice sometimes. Maybe you're not in an environment where you want where you can have like sound going on or something like that. So that's pretty cool and takes so many hours, probably the most hours of everything for our from our team. You also get the tennis summit implementation worksheet, so that'll help you to take notes on the most important points from these summit sessions. And then you also will get access to the summit Facebook group where me and other coaches can answer your questions, and you can post whatever you're struggling with, and then we can, as a community, talk about that and find solutions for you. And then you also will get a members only Q&A live stream with me, as well as special deals and discounts from our sponsors. You see that mainly those links below the video for some really cool discounts. And then also probably the most amazing thing that, again, Peter, we really appreciate, which he's going to talk more about in just a second. You'll also get the Serve Mastery Gold Collection, which this is like, I wish I had that 15 years ago. And also, yeah, because my serve, like, just that's the biggest thing for everybody. The most important thing that you need to improve right here from Peter for free. Also, you get 30 days free access to the Totally Obsessed Tennis Club. So, Peter, I think now would be a good time for me to bring the information up for you to talk about it. So let me just do that. And yeah, then we can go further into that. So here we go. And it should be up.
Just a maestro on the presentations. I mean,
oh, thank you so much, my
amazing
friend. Thank you. Here it is.
Okay, so the tennis, the Serve Mastery Gold Collection. So really, this is like all the serve information you're going to need. So what you're going to get is the first thing, and we can go to the next slide, is you're going to get the 3x Power Serve course. So when I made this was a lot of fun to make because I had about 30 players send me their serves, and I reviewed people's serves, and I was counting up from the ground up, the kinetic chain. If you've ever heard of that, it's basically power from the ground up, and everything links together. You can make that all link up perfectly, then you hit a great serve. If anything falls apart, I identified them as power leaks, and so I counted 17 of them. Now, it sounds intimidating, but a lot of these leaks are like very easy to fix. So I just show you from the ground up, hey, I noticed this leak. If you do that, the leak's gone and it becomes a power source. So you get to go through that step by step so you can eliminate that and serve over 100 miles an hour. And that's a $67 value, but as we discussed before, I'm not going to go too much into it. It took a lot more time and effort than really, $67, but that's what I sold it for. Okay, next one. Second serve confidence. So as we know, that famous line, you're only as good as your second serve. And I think that serve anxiety doesn't necessarily come from people's first serve. I think it's like you might get anxiety on your first serve because like, oh no, my second serve sucks, or I don't want to hit a second serve because I'm double faulting. So if you're tired of being nervous on your second serve, whether you're double faulting or you're hitting those powder puff serves, then this is what the second serve confidence course is about. It shows you a step-by-step how to develop a safe second serve that will not get picked on by the competition. So you can eliminate your double faults and have a second serve that you can depend on. You get that as well when you get the all access pass. And I will be able to, I think, because it's going to close tonight, I think at 12 o'clock Pacific. So when I wake up tomorrow, that's it. No one else will be able to buy. And so I can then download all the buyers and send you guys out an email with your user and password to get into everything that I'm showing you tonight. So you will get it tomorrow morning. All right, let's go to the next thing. Kick serve mastery, getting a sick kick. Does your kick actually kick, or does it just sit there like a piñata begging to get clobbered? So this is a course that takes you through a series of step-by-step exercises. And probably the best thing that I remember from this course is I had a student come out, and he was like a strong between a 4.0 and a 4.5. And then we got to the kick serve, and it was like the best thing he did by like a mile. I'm like, where did you learn that kick serve? Because that kick serve is better than mine. And he said, I learned it from your kick serve mastery course. And then I didn't believe him because it was so good. I just thought he was blowing smoke up, and but then he went through all the drills. He showed me that I did this drill, then I did that drill, then I did that drill. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, good
Nice,
job.
Peter.
You actually spent a lot of time in this course. Okay, next one. The slice serve mastery. Now, slice serve is my baby, and I say this over and over again. I made a lot of videos on it. If there's one serve that all recreational players should master, it's the slice serve. You want to get to that next level because you can do so much with the serve. You can ace people out wide. You can slide into their body. You can hit the ball fast. Like, you can do lots of change-ups. Some serves fast, some serves medium pace. You can even slow it down and hit that thing really feathery out wide. And you can do it anywhere in the box. And the other thing I love about it is, like, when I run camps, I can just start slicing the serve right off the bat. I don't need to really be warmed up, because you can stand still and just hit them, and you can hit them really, really good. With a kick serve, I rarely demonstrate kick serves in my camps anymore, not because I don't have a good one, because I'm coaching most of the day and my body is just not warmed up. I mean, the kick serve takes physicality to do. So a lot of us I know are over 40 on this, and you might have some, banged up body parts, knees, back, whatever. And so the slice serve is also something that's very easy to do with your physicality. If you get the arm motion down, even if other parts are banged up, you can hit great slice serves.
100%.
Next one. The 3-day racket drop challenge. If you struggle and you know that you have the waiter tray serve, you should just jump right to this course and just do it all the time. There is no way, I'm convinced, there is no way, if you do this all the time as it's laid out, and I would say you give it 60 days, because I just want to be absolutely sure that you get it right. If you're doing this and you do it for 60 days and your waiter tray is still there, like, email me. Because there is no way, I will not believe you. I'll think, well, they're obviously not doing the work enough, because I think there's just no way you go through this and you don't figure out a way to get rid of the waiter tray, which we know that most people have between 3.0 and 4.0. And there's more, though, because if we add all this up, Mehrban, it comes to $305, but it's free tonight when you upgrade to the Tennis Summit. Have we put the links in for them to buy yet, if they want to buy tonight?
Oh, yeah. There is your link. Just put it in there. And, yep.
Okay, so you click on that link that Mehrban just put in the chat. You have to use my special link. If you buy off somebody else's link, you don't get the bonus, because it doesn't come on my list that you bought from me. So I get a list that I can see that you bought from me. And then finally, there is more. So let's go to more.
More.
My new baby, the
Boom.
Totally Obsessed Tennis Club. And we have some people on the free 30-day account right now. And what it is we basically are helping you get one NTPR level better. Like, if you're a 3.0, get to a 3.5 within 12 months, 3.5 to 4.0, by working on finishing your technique, making sure that everything is deployable in a match. That's the important stuff. Your serve improves, so you build more confidence to get to the next level. Your forehand, your backhand, your net game. We finish the technique so you're not overwhelmed with swing thoughts. And we then also teach you how to play smarter strategy. And you get all my technique challenges. Like, I'm getting ready to do we just did the racket drop challenge would be in there. I did a topspin challenge, 3-day topspin challenge. That's in there. Your 7-day serve challenge, your 7-day backhand challenge, your 7-day forehand challenge. We're going to do the 3-day footwork challenge. That's all in there.
What do you not have?
Yeah. And then you also get all my tennis cons that I've ever made. That's in there too. You get all the courses I've ever made, which is probably another like 20 courses. So, like, it's literally a one-stop shop. And then the other thing is you get access to me. Like, for example, on Friday, I'm doing a session where it's anything goes. I call it like the Tennis Genie coaching session. And there's only 8 people allowed on each time slot that I'm handing out to my members. And so when they come in there, we literally have the time where I'm like, okay, if you've got a burning question on strategy, ask me that. Go. I'll answer it. And you'll be on video, like me and Mehrban are talking. You're going to be there. You're going to be able to like see me and ask me the question. If you're like, hey, can you look at my serve real quick? Then you can demonstrate a serve for me, and I'll be able to tell by your motion. Or even if you have a video and it's on the phone, you can even just hold up the phone to the camera, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll be able to analyze what you're doing on the court. So come prepared to that meeting. If you sign up tonight and you want to join the call on Friday, to where it's Ask Me Anything Friday. And some days we're just working on your serve, some days work on your forehand, some days working on strategy, but it's very interactive. And the spots that I allow during the day are limited so that people will get their time to ask me a question. No question will be not answered. So that is that. That's 30 days free. Now, after 30 days, if you love it, you do nothing, you will be billed $199. Okay. Now that doesn't, you're going to have to sign up for that, like within the email. So it'll be voluntary. Your card is not going to be charged out of nowhere. You will go, I want to be part of this. You'll sign up. You'll enter your credit card information. It will be $0 though. You won't be charged anything. You try it for 30 days. If you love it, you do nothing, you'll be charged $199. Then you will not be charged again $199 until the exact next year. And but if you don't want to do it, you can cancel at any time. So that's my big bonus when you upgrade for the tennis summit with my buddy Mehrban.
Thank you, Peter. Again, like just amazing. I mean, like there's everything that she would want, like in terms of how to improve your game. You know, you're getting through, you know, the bonuses and then the summit as well. So definitely something you should hop on. And again, this is the last night that it's available. So the tennis summit all access pass is you know, closing up shop after tonight. So that tonight midnight Pacific time is the deadline. So definitely hop onto this opportunity and just check the chat. I put the link, Peter's link. So by using that link, you will support both Peter and I, which we really appreciate. And then also you would get all the bonuses that, you know, I listed and that Peter listed, which is like ton way over, you know, what you're paying. It's only $97. Less than the price of a tennis lesson at many places for all that stuff. So yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Let's see what else we got here. Got a couple. Oh, we got some nice comments. Let's see. Muchísimas gracias for sharing your tennis genialities. You rock. Thank you very much, Maggie. Dick, thanks, guys. Great conversation about improving doubles for all levels. Thanks a million, guys. Michael said bonus package. Wow. Yes, definitely wow. Yeah, well, gosh, Peter, I guess we've hit the end of the road here, huh?
I know, it's always sad. Notice our last
Yeah.
live stream is always the longest because we don't want it to end. It was a great year. You did another great job. And everybody give Mehrban a hand. He did awesome. Countless hours, literally countless hours. You don't count these hours, otherwise you probably wouldn't do it. So
yeah.
Good job again.
Thank you, Peter. Couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't pick a better person to, you know, do all these streams with. And thanks for all your support. Really appreciate it. Love doing content with you. And, you know, really look forward to all the great things that are coming down the pike that you're doing. And, you know, hopefully that we'll team up for the doubles camp as well in July. And yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed this session, and hope that you know, just take, you know, one or two of these and try to implement them the next time you play doubles. And I think you're going to definitely do much better. And just remember to communicate with your partner. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Peter. And really was a great year again for the summit. Really appreciate it, the support and everything. So we'll see you next time on you know, one of our respective channels, or, you know, the next summit, hopefully much earlier than that. And yeah, take care and have a great one, everyone.